A very good morning to all of you, my dear students. Welcome back to the class. Now we have to go and study, discuss about the uh, next emperor of the Mughal dynasty, that is the Humayun after Babur. That was his son, and he became the successor, next successor. We are going through chapter 4 of the Mughal of grade 7 history. The Mughal Empire is the name of the chapter also. So let us see Humayun, what Humayun, you can see in the bracket is written from 1530 to 1540, and then again 1555 to 1556. So he ruled twice in India. First, let us see why he left India and from where he started. Babur was succeeded by his eldest son Humayun. So let me share that Humayun photograph also, if I can have it. Yeah. Is this the son of Babur, Humayun? You can see in the image. Lovely looking. And his other sons were also given a province. Other sons were also there. Babur was having other sons also, and they were also given different areas for ruling. So Humayun just took the place of Babur over there, and the rest of the sons were also enjoying or leading or ruling in some of the areas. From the beginning of his reign, Humayun faced many problems. His brothers Kamran, Hindal, and Askari. There were three brothers also of Humayun. So on, you can say overall, Babur was having four sons: Humayun, Kamran, Hindal, and Askari. But these three brothers, Kamran, Hindal, and Askari, they were not satisfied. They were dissatisfied with the areas that they had been given for ruling. They were not satisfied with this one. They wanted to take place of Humayun. But as Humayun was the eldest son and most, you can say, the wisest among them, so he was given, and he was the eldest son also. So he was given the opportunity to succeed Babur. But these three sons were not happy. Ambitions of Kamran. So Kamran was having ambition to become or take the place of Babur, his father. So ambitions of Kamran weakened Humayun's cause against Afghan competitors. So Humayun at one place he was facing, because we know that the Afghan rulers, those who have invited Babur to India to defeat Ibrahim Lodi, they were still against the Mughal emperors. So Humayun was also facing the same issue from the Afghan competitors. They were also a great threat to Humayun also, and was another threat was added. Was the next threat was from his brother Kamran. So Humayun's, you can say, his decisions or his thinking was bifurcated or differentiated in two directions. One way he was thinking about his brother Kamran, and the other he was also thinking how to deal with the Afghan competitors also. So his mind was just separated. You can say his mind was just uh, were in two directions. Bahadur Shah, the ruler of Gujarat, was also threatening to Delhi. So Bahadur Shah was also one of the ruler of Gujarat, was the ruler of Gujarat at that time, and he was also giving a threat. He was also threatening Delhi also. He also want to capture Delhi. In eastern India, Sher Shah, an ambitious Afghan ruler. So we know that the Afghans were against the Babur or the Mughal emperors, because they have invited them and they wanted them to go back. But the Mughal rulers, Babur as well as his son Humayun, they refused to go back, and that's why the Afghans were against them. So in eastern India, you can see Sher Shah was very ambitious Afghan ruler, had become very powerful, and he was also a great threat to Delhi. They also want to capture Delhi, because Delhi was the capital at that time also. So now you can say Humayun was having different competitors and even different type of enemies also. We can say the Afghans were the enemy, and you can see Sher Shah was also on the other hand, and even his brother Kamran, Hindal, and Askari were also not satisfied with his brother. The rivalry between Humayun and Sher Shah started in the year 1532. So Humayun just, you can see, he just came to the throne, ascended the throne in the year 1530, and later on you can say in the year 1532, Humayun and Sher Shah conflict started. And how it started, let us see. Humayun defeated Sher Shah army and captured the fort of Chunar. That is the reason why this Sher Shah was against this Humayun or the Mughal emperor, because Sher Shah army was defeated by Humayun's army, and they have captured, Humayun have captured the fort of Chunar, and that's why Sher Shah was very angry and he wanted to take a revenge from Humayun or the Mughal emperor. Humayun proceeded to Gujarat to crush the rebellion of Bahadur Shah also. So Humayun was dealing with them one by one. He dealt with Sher Shah, he defeated him, and then Humayun proceeded towards Gujarat to crush Bahadur Shah also, who was also threatening to capture Delhi. So Humayun was dealing with these people, Sher Shah as well as Bahadur Shah. You can see that he is busy in dealing with those people. While Humayun was occupied with Gujarat, means when he was crushing Bahadur Shah in Gujarat, Sher Shah was free at that time. He regrouped his forces. Sher Shah again grouped his forces, once again united his forces, and then he defeated Humayun at the Battle of Chausa in the year 1539. So now it is the time for Sher Shah. He defeated Humayun, and a year later, Sher Shah again defeated Humayun in the Battle of Kannauj, that is in the year 1540. So now you can see there were two continuous defeat, or you can say Sher Shah has defeated Humayun continuously for a second time in the year 1539 at the Battle of Chausa and at the Battle of Kannauj in the year 1540. So this was really harassing for Humayun that he was defeated twice by Sher Shah. Humayun escaped to Persia. He went to Persia, where the Shah of Persia gave him refuge. And the Shah of Persia gave him or supported Humayun in Persia. So Humayun escaped and he went to Persia in the year 1540. So that was the first reigning of Humayun in India from 1530 to 1540. And in this he lost two battles and he won two battles also, once against Sher Shah and the ones against Bahadur Shah of Gujarat. So now you can see that he lost two continuous battles and consecutive battles in the battlefield. So he went to Persia and he again started regrouping or making his army so that he can once come back to India once again. And you can see over here in the year 1555, Humayun returned to India and regained all the territories that he had lost. तो हुमायूं ने जो भी नुकसान किया था, जो भी नुकसान हुआ था, he has just regained all the territories, because in the year 1545 Sher Shah died. Sher Shah died in the year 1545. So Humayun have seen that there is no Sher Shah also, no Bahadur Shah. Bahadur Shah is also not there. So let us go back to India, and he came back in the year 1555, and that again his ruling or reign started in the year 1555. But it was not for a long time. The next year, Humayun died in the year 1556 in an accident, and he was succeeded by his son Akbar. Now we are going to learn more about the Akbar, but before that we will go through about short reigning of Sher Shah also. So Humayun died in the year 1556, otherwise he would be ruling for more years. But later on his son Akbar started ruling the country from the year 1556. Let us see the Humayun's tomb also. Yeah, this is the Humayun's tomb. So I am not saying that this tomb was built in a single day, but it was built after the death of the Humayun's tomb. After the death of Humayun, it was built in Delhi. So that is all we have to discuss about Humayun. He died in an accident in the year 1556, and his son Akbar succeeded after Humayun. Let us see about something about Sher Shah. Why was his name Sher Shah? Let us see. He ruled from the year 1540 to 1545. You can see Sher Shah was the son of Afghan Jagirdar, and his name was Farid Khan. So the real name of Sher Shah was Farid Khan. But Farid Khan was renamed or was very famous by the name of Sher Shah, because he got the title of Sher after he killed after he killed a tiger all alone. He killed one tiger all alone. He was so brave and he was so courageous and he was so strong that he killed a tiger all alone, and that's why he got the title of Sher, and that's why he was also known as Sher Shah. He conquered a number of Rajput estates. I mean, he captured a lot of Rajput estates by fighting, and even you can say Sher Shah extended his empire from Jhelum in the west to Brahmaputra in the east, from west to east, and from the Himalaya to the north, in the north to Malwa in the south. So that was the region where Sher Shah was ruling, from Jhelum in the west to the Brahmaputra in the east, and again from the Himalaya in the north to Malwa in the south. That was the extension of his empire. He defeated Humayun. Sher Shah defeated Humayun at the Battle of Chausa and Kannauj that we have discussed earlier also, and he occupied Delhi also, and that's why that was the reason why Humayun fled or escaped to Persia also, where another Shah of Persia helped him to stay there. So because of Sher Shah only, Humayun had to leave India and go to Persia. But unfortunately, he ruled for a very short time. Sher Shah ruled for a very short time. He died in the year 1545 and was buried at Sasaram. You might be knowing this name, my dear students, Sasaram. So you can find the tomb of Sher Shah also in Sasaram, because he died there in the year 1545. So that is all about the Sher Shah. Let us see what are the things that the Mughals follow when there is a dispute regarding the succession. Means if a father is having 4 sons or 5 sons, then who will come to the next? Who will become the next king? So how they used to decide? Let us see. The Mughals did not believe in the rule of primogeniture. They were not believing on the rule of primogeniture, where the eldest son inherited his father's kingdom. Means they were not believing on this fact that only the eldest son will become the next king. Whoever is the eldest son will become the next king. That was not followed by the Mughals. They did not like and they did not believe on this rule of primogeniture, which it means, what it means, that the eldest son will become the next king after the death of the father. So the Mughals were not believing on this. What they were believing? They were believing on the custom of Kopar-Seneri inheritance. That is Timurid custom of Kopar-Seneri inheritance, which means that the divisions of the inheritance will be given to the all sons, will be done among all sons. Means whatever the property or whatever the kingdom is the father is having, it will be distributed among all the sons. And that is the reason we have seen that Humayun was given the kingdom, and even his other sons, Babur's other sons, were also given some part of the areas where they were also ruling. So not only for that reason that Humayun was given the rule or the kingdom of the Mughal emperor, he was one of the wisest among the brothers also. That's why, that is the only reason he became the king of India after Babur, his father. But his other brothers also got the things, although also got the areas or the provisions where they were also ruling, but they were not happy. That is another fact. But the Mughals were following this method, the method of Kopar-Seneri inheritance. They were following this thing, which means what? Divisions on the basis or division among all the sons. Whatever the kingdom is there, if they are having 5 states and they are having 5 brothers, then each brother will get 1 state equally. सभी को बराबर मिलेगा, है ना, सभी भाइयों को. So Mughals believe on this policy. So let us see next about Akbar. Even we know that in the year 1556, Humayun died because of an accident, and you can see over here